Hello, everyone. It's 10/10. Do you know what that means? 10/10, October 10th. It is Mental Health Awareness Day.
Oh,
So it's
very important.
So it's 10/10, and it is Mental Health Awareness. So Tamara Hunter, tell us, what have you been up to around the world of healing in your project? And I'm just so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Teresa. It's always great to be on your show and around you. I'm honored. What we are doing, well, I am the executive director and co-founder of a nonprofit, Chemo Buddies for Life. We believe in healing through connections within a buddies network, and we are preparing for our big Give A Thon on December the 3rd, which is Giving Tuesday. Are you aware that there's Thanksgiving, there's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Giving Tuesday? And
wow.
so we are, oh, hello, Angel. Hello,
Carol. And then I put the date up, and it's going on YouTube also. So,
yay.
Black Friday, Thanksgiving,
Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then there's Giving Tuesday, which is the biggest philanthropic day of the year. And what we are doing is, last year we had our first annual, and this is second annual telethon. We're calling it got a facelift, and we're calling it a Give-a-thon for 24 to 36 hours. It's still yet to be determined. We are going live streaming, and we're going to go through all the social networks, and we're going to be entertaining, and we are going to be educating and telling stories. And the bottom line is this, is that we are creating a movement of people that have heard 3 words no one wants to hear, and they don't have to do it alone. They can have a buddy.
Yes, 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 yes. And I think that is the most important thing. Those 3 words, I or you or someone you know has cancer.
Yeah.
And let's talk about what is the essence of the buddy program.
The essence of it all originated because of the fact that I'm a survivor. I heard those words, and I've heard those 3 words for too many people in my own family. My grandfather, my mother, my brother, and myself. We were the only 2 kids, and then my daughter. And you hear that enough, it takes you back. Well, when I heard it, it was like, okay, yeah, right. You're not taking me. So I was ready. I was a Girl Scout. I show up to the chemotherapy room because I chose traditional, and I ended up the day that happened, which was 5 years ago, this coming December the 10th.
Wow.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Thank you. Wow. And I met my destiny in that room that day because I had a severe allergic reaction, and someone woke me up, and that person was the daughter of my original buddy, and we ended up like rocking the house. We ended up changing the environment, the frequency change, they said, when we showed up, and we traveled our cancer journey together. And our doctors and our nurses kept saying that they wanted to bottle us, they wanted to recreate us. And finally got it and found that there was nothing out there quite like what now has become Chemo Buddies for Life. And we are putting together buddies and a buddies community for the patient and those people that love and support them. And so that those 2 different chairs that sit next to each other in a chemotherapy room, one's a recliner, that's the patient, and then the support person. Oftentimes they're not going to be able to connect with each other and understand each other because they're coming from 2 different places. And so that can cause a lot of stress. And so if you can have someone to talk to, someone that understands you, someone that can validate you, someone that you can laugh with, cry with, and just find a way to have that hope and to know that this period in time doesn't have to define you. You just have to get through it and go on with your life. And that's what we're doing, is helping people to do exactly that.
Love it. I love it. And that is what I want to commend you for, is they wanted to bottle you up because of your energy and your frequency. and then you were able to go, oh, aha. And I would imagine that at the moment you didn't know, and that's what you're relaying information to others that now are stopped in their tracks, or they are sitting in that treatment room and they're like, wow, what? And so I just love the buddy program as a whole. So now I want to talk to you about you and also the healing, because you have modalities of healing through. So what has Tamara Hunter been up to? I know about Chemo Buddies for Life and Give A Thon, but kind of tell me, I want to check in with my friend.
Well, after we spent time in Chicago, Illinois, and for the global Next Impactor, and after coming home with this little lady winning the grand champion position for the first global Next Impactor, it's been busy. The package was $500,000 in resources, not cash, but resources, which was exactly what I needed, because as you know, Teresa, we've had plenty of fun, and usually it revolves around what I'm doing, because it's like a 24/7, 365-day thing. And so to have a business coach and to have an international coach that has, I've been featured now in an international magazine, and I've submitted my article, and here soon, any day, another international magazine is going to be highlighting what it is that we're doing, and writing and going back to the basics, which for me as an individual.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, because I know, because I want to be in this moment and really relish in, you winning and the resources you've gotten, and how you are you're just, wow. Like, I had a lot of words, and I'm just blessed. We both were in the contest together, and I got to come and be with you at your home and travel to other award shows. And so I'm curious, are these awards, is it sinking in? And I know you don't ever like to make it about you. And that's the thing that I love, but I also want to make it about you.
Well,
because it still takes you getting up, and it still takes you writing the articles, and it still takes you putting these groups and these buddies together. So I just want to relish in you.
Yeah. Thank you. That's a harder thing for me to do, because we can all, Mental Health Day 10/10. It's appropriate for me to be here, because I actually have family members that hit in that category, and with having a movement that you're creating from scratch, basically, because it's not like I wanted to. It was just they kept saying we need you to do this, and then going out there was nothing that I could get behind to help make it better. It was like, ooh, we got to do this from scratch, and that was a really big sacrifice, to be honest, because I had worked very hard, and most of the time as a single mom with kids that had special needs, of which one fits in today's spectrum, in today's Awareness Day. And so I at times have a tendency to say, okay, I got to get this going so that I can then spend time with some of the others in my life. And that's a balancing act that we all need to work on. And I still need to work on that. It's because I have a tendency to have a little bit of a workaholic in me, and I enjoy what I'm doing. It's the healing through that you hit is so important for people to understand. And that is what I am actually trying to embrace also. And that picture you have in the back right now of the dog, Yeah, it actually is bringing it all full circle. And what I'm sharing is that we have a new puppy in my house, and and it reminds me that I need to actually go out and spend time with this new little puppy, and walk away for a few minutes, and then you can come back with a fresh perspective. And so what my whole thing since coming home from Chicago has been is to really work on not being overwhelmed with the all of the resources and everything that we now can do to take this global. It's to embrace the moment, find the balance, and find the individuals that will help make that happen. And that's why the balance is coming. It's people like you, people like Carol, people, my friends, and many of the buddies that are coming together and saying, okay, it's time. It's time for us to go forward. Yeah.
I know, and I also wanted to know, of course, I wanted to acknowledge, Carol, yes, rest. And then Angel, of course, she said a little bit earlier, yes, Tamara, you, we want to celebrate you. And I know because we are both good friends, and then we're both very driven, strong personalities. And it was so poignant that Carol came on today and acknowledged both of us. And it was like, what was that like to see? Let's talk about like team members and what Carol and also the balance. Yeah, balance. I think anytime you have won a big prize. Now you're writing. I'm curious, how's the writing, the healing, but let's talk about the team members and what it was like to see Carol just light up today.
That's what makes this so exciting, because we are putting together something that literally is a legacy. It is going to be as big, if not bigger, than many of the names that people can, you think of Make-A-Wish, you think of some of these others, you have a picture in your mind, who's been involved with it, it's been around, it's something stable and solid. And at some point in time, the buddies will be the same thing, and people will think, wow, you hear those 3 words, immediately they know to go get a buddy. Was there ever a time when you didn't go get a buddy? And it will be that way. And so to be bringing people in right now that are themselves growing and finding their way and challenging themselves and giving them, because my background is I'm a 2nd generation recruiter, headhunter, and so I always think in terms of how is someone going to win, because you can't have people working this hard, especially as volunteers, and not give them a format and a forum that they can in some way enhance their life, or it's a win for them because of, it might be a personal situation, it might be emotional, it might be a skill, whatever it may be. And it's like one of my coaches now, Jason Cisneros, says, fall in love with the people you're serving. And I can already say I am in love with the people that I'm serving, the volunteers, our sponsors, our buddies. And when today, one of my first volunteers, when it came to the Giving Tuesday, one of the very first people I thought of was Carol, because this is an event. She's so wonderful with what she does for you as the producing your shows, and then with us as with her service as an ambassador. And I thought, okay, she gets it all. She gets it. I want her to be a part of the team. And then when you're going through growth, sometimes growth can be painful, or it can be challenging, yet when you get on the other side, it can be so rewarding. And so today, when she was sharing that she had grown through an experience, and then the results of it were spectacular, and the face, her face sharing it was like,
it lit up.
You can't get better than that. You can't get better.
Exactly. It's like when it's hands on. It's like, I know I had to bring us closer into this broadcast because she just lit up. And it was like, wow, because we're all going to have moments of downtime or when we're feeling, wow, am I doing this all by myself? Or, and so, yes, so shout out to Carol for helping and everybody on the committee and the Giving Tuesday coming up. And so now I'm going to go back and ask you about writing. I know I've kind of brought that up a little bit. How has it been for you actually writing out and writing and sharing some of your story?
It's interesting. I was actually talking about this today. I love the concept of writing. The exercise of it is actually not one of my strong suits. And so it's been...
I love it, and then I hate it all at the same time. And so that's why I asked. I wondered. Yeah. Writing, and it's kind of, so I just am like, I got to ask my girl, Tamara, how has it been for you? Because I just want, I don't know. Go ahead.
I've always had journals. So I've always journaled.
Yes.
I mean, since the time I was a child, I've always journaled. It was something that my mom felt was very important, so I did. And so I've got journals way back, dating back to my childhood, that I've kept. And so I've always written, but it was more for, if you will, oh, Danny, hello.
And I have to say to Danny that because I took that random picture with him, that we ended up being the centerfold in the Global magazine.
Yeah, I know.
I'm with that, right? And then Carol said thanks for the acknowledgement, and then someone else said something. Back to the writing. I know.
So I actually, I mean, now everything is kind of going out there, but it was like, okay, with even the volunteers, they're like, okay, do you have this in writing? Do you have this in writing? And I'm like, no. I don't. It's all up here, and it's all remained the same. I mean, you've been around me for a while. Nothing has deviated, and I need people to help get it out of here, and so that we can get it into where it really needs to go. I've got stuff, but the way we really need it, not at the finished product state. And so what this has been is an exercise in realizing what our strengths are. Mm-hmm. And my strength is I can tell a story. I tell them all the time. I tell them verbally. And nowadays we have so many tools, and we need to be able to realize that we can use our tool boxes, however that is, if it's individuals or if it's actual technology. And so I have taught my family members, some of them with different, we all have challenges and strengths. And so it's like, if this is your challenge, you just find a way to overcome it. And so like if your challenge is in spelling or reading, I mean, then you find, but your strength is that you could run a company. Well, then by golly, go start the company, run the company, and hire the people that are going to do the writing and all of those because we all have our strengths and our weaknesses. And the
teamwork,
right. And so
the different tools.
Right.
It's
right. So the team in the writing, that's easy for me to find to recruit those people and say, okay, now is there a win in that? But me writing myself, that has been a bit of it's been a growth experience, which we all need to grow. We all need to grow. And so I'm grateful for it. I mean, this book here is actually, it's a journal because I love journals, but there are stories in it. And it is something that I wrote. It's not for sale. You get it for free if you register over at our landing page. And there are there's some stories that I wrote in it. And so now to know that I'm going to be actually the winning, I'm going to be in 3 books. One that I've already submitted that we're in together, another one I'm submitting that we're going to be in together, and then one that I get to be, my own book.
Yeah.
And so it's an evolution, and it's always something I knew that I would do, but didn't know when. And I'm grateful for the growth that it's given me.
Well, and I would say that Joy Willett and I have talked some, and she's helped me process some things, and she's continued to encourage me to put some things in writing. And I don't know what it is about, like, I love it and I hate it. So again, we step up to the plate and take on some of these challenges and learn. And also to the toolbox and the toolkit, I was telling Carol, the Phillips screwdriver and the regular screwdriver, and I call one of them the plus screwdriver and the other one is the minus, and then you hammer, and you know what I mean? And it's like, wow, if we can come together, because I love the, just when we can't, like-minded. And sometimes we may not be like-minded on certain issues, but it's like, oh, I didn't think about that one. Yet our goal is the same. Healing and buddies and giving and the give-a-thon. So I don't know. It's just amazing.
Well, thank you. You know, one thing that my grandfather taught me, and he's actually the first one of the five of us in the 4 generations that ended up with cancer, and he passed of it. And so, well, thank you. Angel is so amazing. My grandfather was my rock. He was my hero, and he's the first one that passed of cancer in my family. And he taught me this, and that was, we would sit, because he was sick a lot of the later years of his life, and I would travel up to spend time with him on the weekends, rather during when I was in high school and I had my own car, than doing other things. So I would go up and spend time with my grandparents, and he would do this. He would bring up a subject and he would make me take a stand on it. And then halfway through it, he would change his stand so that I'd have to change my stand. And so I might be pro for whatever that subject was, and then midway I had to be con on that subject. And we would go through this exercise a lot, and the whole brilliance of it is that you can find a legitimate reason to stand for whatever that is in both sides. And there very rarely, I mean, truth is the truth, and yet when you have an opinion, there's going to be an opinion, and you can see it from different sides if you're taught to see it from different sides. And that's why when you were saying, you know, some people will agree to disagree and everything like that, but yet, yes, to serve, Danny, exactly. When you gravitate towards service, you can have people coming from all different places in the world, all different religions, all different ethnic backgrounds, all different everything, and yet serving a community can be in common. And it's all of that variety, all of that color, all of the differences that brings that wealth of tapestry, that the weaving that is brilliant and so unique. And that is what brings us together, and us together on a common cause of taking the scary away and the power away of cancer and kicking it to the curb. We can all unite on that. I don't think there's many that won't unite on the fact that we just want that gone. Absolutely. And all of us, that tapestry weaving together, we need each other, because the more we weave together and the more unique it is, the stronger we are and the bond is. And that's what we are creating as a legacy throughout the world, to say, you know what, you hear those words, the next thing you say, do you have your buddy yet? And they won't even have to say Chemo Buddies or Buddies for Life. They're just going to say, do you have your buddy? Absolutely. It will get to that point.
I mean, I already have been just every person that both of my grandmothers had breast cancer, and you know, just friends. When I hear it, I automatically think the buddies and the community. Right. Well, we're of course wrapping up towards the end, and I always like to ask my guest, which you're just such a dear friend. It's not like you're a guest, it's like we're having coffee together. You know, I like to ask, what would you like to be acknowledged for? And then I want to be able to really fully acknowledge you.
Oh, wow.
And this is uncomfortable for most people.
I would like we are changing the way cancer is done. And for the last 3 years, my whole life has been this. Most people only know now, but 24/7, 365 days, this is what it's been. And I haven't been able to spend time with my family and my grandkids and everything. And yet they all understand. They all are behind me because they know the pain of losing their dear grandmother, my mom, to cancer, and the pain of what that created. And her story, and we won't go into that yet, but her story is so significant. The why behind the why. It's that anything is possible if you believe. No matter one person can change the world. And I don't see it as me, but but that's what we're doing. We're changing the world.
Yeah. And this is just Angel says courage and drive. Yeah, and Danny says receive, you are a blessing. And that's what I want to. So Tamara. Yes, Tamara, I really legitimately hope you feel this like a virtual true hug, and that you receive the love, not just from me, but from others. So Tamara, what I want to acknowledge you for is that, yes, for 3 years and beyond, you have had a vision, and it's partly because of your mom, and it's partly because of Sheila, and it's partly because of you, and it's all these dear, dear, dear people. Yet I want you to be fully acknowledged that you're the one that gets up. You're the one that stays up. You're the one that, if there's a tear to be had or a friend that needs to talk, you just know how to work it out. And I love your resilience. I love your giving heart. I love how you are for service. And I love how this is going to be something that there are probably days where you feel maybe tired or confronted. But it's changing. It's changing the world. One buddy at a time. And I love you for it.
I love you too. Thank you.
You are so welcome. So everyone stay tuned for Giving Tuesday. I'm going to put the date back up there. December 3rd. And you can play on the team. We were on a conference call last night. We're all getting duties and responsibilities and fun. And I really just saw so much come alive last night with a variety of people. So Tamara, thank you. Is there anything you want to say in closing?
Just that, never, ever, ever give up. All things are possible if you believe. And I have seen how in not giving up and not isolating yourself, that anything is possible. And you need to just believe it. You need to believe it. Don't let anybody take that away from you, not the doctors, not anyone. If you believe it, it can be so. So never, ever, ever, ever give up.
Mwah. It's the best way to close.